Hello and welcome. We are just going to do a quick evaluation of sports drinks and how good they may or may not be for people who are carrying out regular exercise or perhaps for athletes. Now, before we do any of that, we just need to look at a couple of changes that happen in the body during heavy exercise, and one of those is the reduction of blood sugar. Now, blood sugar is really important because it's required for respiration, and respiration releases energy. And this is very important for the working muscles, and they need a supply of blood sugar in order to release that energy. The other thing that happens is athletes do sweat quite a lot in order to keep the body cool, and when they sweat they lose a lot of water and they lose a lot of what we call mineral ions, such as sodium, potassium, and there are a few others as well. Sometimes these are referred to as electrolytes because they affect certain chemical reactions in the body, often to do with nerve impulses. And also, if we don't have enough of these ions, these mineral ions are depleted in the body, it causes the cells to work inefficiently, and this can happen if we have excessive sweating because of exercise. Now, sports drinks manufacturers will say that they have solved the problem for you because they can replace water, they can replace mineral ions, and they can replace the sugar that is lost through doing heavy exercise. And there are lots of different sports manufacturers that are around, and that's fine, but we need to consider or evaluate the claims of these sports drinks manufacturers. Now, the first thing to think about is, well, if we need to replace water that's been lost through sweating, what's the best way to do that? That's just to drink water. The other thing is, if we've got sugar that's been lost in the body and that the reserves of sugar have been depleted, we can just have an ordinary soft drink that will replace the sugar that's been lost. And if we want to replace the mineral ions, well, again, we can just use this ordinary soft drink, or something like orange squash, and a little tiny pinch of salt in the orange squash could actually help to replace not only the sugar that's lost, not only the water that's lost, but also the mineral ions or the electrolytes that we called them earlier. They could be replaced as well. So why is it better to have a sports drink? Well, here are two sides of the argument. Now, there's quite a lot of writing here, and sometimes when you're evaluating information, there is a lot of information that you have to look at before you actually come to an answer, and so this is one of the higher level tasks. So I don't usually put lots of writing on the videos, but let's just have a quick look at arguments from two sides of this issue. Now, when you're evaluating, you need to look at evidence from both sides. You might be using words like whereas or more than, or conversely when you're actually responding to these kinds of questions, more than, less than, something like that. And sometimes you're required to give a conclusion, and that conclusion has to be based on what you've stated in terms of the evidence from both sides. So if we have a quick look at the two sides of the argument, this is taken from the British Medical Journal, or a newspaper article that cites or quotes the British Medical Journal. And a couple of things they say is that sports drinks, if they work at all, work for endurance athletes, not for just the ordinary person puffing about on a cross trainer twice a week, or for teenagers having a Saturday kickabout. But on top of that, they say, or they severely criticize much of the science, citing or quoting small sample sizes, poorly designed research, data dredging, and significant financial conflicts. And that's just basically talking about the idea of bias. So, for example, if you've got a company that the sports drinks manufacturer is paying to endorse the product, and they are posing as scientists, well, there's going to be a financial conflict there in terms of bias. Now, on the other side of things, this is taken from the website of a sports drink manufacturer, and they are justifying why you need to have these specific sports drinks. And it says here, water doesn't have adequate sodium and carbohydrates, and these numbers here are actually linked to the website, or linked to articles below that I haven't actually put into the article here, but they are linked to scientific journals or articles written by people who actually back these up. And on the other side of things, that might be looked at as data dredging, just some people looking up some articles that actually back up what they say. Something over here is quite interesting. It says water doesn't have flavor to drive the desire to drink, and shuts down thirst receptors prematurely. What they're trying to say is water's not good for shutting down your thirst. You need to have flavor in it, because water will stop your thirst reaction more quickly than a flavored drink, which again they say is backed up by these particular articles. Water doesn't have the performance benefits of a sports drink. Again, more articles. It doesn't contain sports drinks, contain sodium along with carbohydrate. And again, they're giving some more reasons here and also below here. So really what you should be able to do is to look at the evidence from both sides, put it together with the science, and give some kind of conclusion of your own whether these sports drinks are either biased or just these manufacturers just trying to make money out of something that is very simple to solve, or they actually do have a point and they should be actually producing these things and it's fair enough that they're making money out of them. Okay, so that's just an overview of an evaluation of sports drinks. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.